the Dyson triggerhead assembly works and how it breaks. In my case, this piece, once we get it all apart, is supposed to be one piece, but it is two. You can see the kind of jagged edge, I think, of the plastic there. Anyway, kind of trying to play with this a little bit, see if I can fix it, and trying to understand how it works to make sure that I can put it back together correctly. This rubber diaphragm goes over this piece here. This part of the piece is entirely inside, and then it runs up to the edge of the flange there. The diaphragm fits down all the way onto here. So that keeps this portion, which has this little cutout depression, lined up with a section inside here that you can't really see right now, but in any case, there are 3 springs inside. It looks a little bit complicated, and it's a pretty genius little system, but anyway, let me see if I can get it taken apart further so I can explain it. Okay, so the camera set up a little bit better, hopefully. You see these 2 springs. This one sits on here, and this one sits inside of here and is indexed by this little bit there. T8 and T10 head screws on this assembly. Get this one out. There's the screw, and there's this little piece, and it slides inside of, you can see it all there. And then the way that it switches on and off, there's this piece, one slides, let's get these out of there for the moment. This one slides over this little bit here, and it sits down in one particular orientation there. So it doesn't have more than one position. So when you screw this screw down, it holds tight. This part doesn't move. When you flip the switch, it'll be further inside there. Then you can see the notches there where it sits. It sits kind of on these little lands, or it sits all the way against the face of it down further down those grooves. And this portion here has these little angled parts on it. So what happens is when the pressure is changed and the whole bit gets sucked up the other way, those little nubs on the red piece here hit those angled parts, and it switches it over. The point is that this portion here contains all of these bits. So these do go in a certain orientation. This goes with this groove fitting down into position here. And this section has a little groove in it that the spring sits in. So you want this part up. So the flat part of that one up with the little groove fitting into its seat here, and then this one, which I can't put back in now because I took it apart. So, hold on. Okay, so just a little update on this piece here. I was trying to repair it, which might be a little bit silly, but I was able to kind of scrape away some of the contact cement or whatever they use to seal the rubber boot onto this piece, and then I used some acetone to actually kind of weld it back together a little bit. It's not going to hold, but it's sort of set back in place. So now I'm going to use some epoxy to actually make a permanent, hopefully permanent repair. Okay, so I managed to get, I think, a pretty even application of epoxy around the rim. I still want there to be a lip for the rubber thing to go on, but I also want to build up a little bit of material, make it stronger than before. The plastic at the point that it failed, it was really pretty thin, and it's ABS, I think, according to the marking there. So I think it's a pretty brittle plastic to begin with. So after using the acetone to kind of partially weld it back together a little bit and keep it in place, just mixed up a little of our two-part epoxy here with our fancy Q-tip application sticks, and we'll let that set up and see how it goes.